Hi, this is Susie, otherwise known as Susie Q Scraps, and today I'm going to show you a simple way that you can create a scalloped border in Photoshop Elements. I'm using version 9, but this technique works in other versions of Elements as well as in Photoshop. So first I'm going to create a new document by going File, New, Blank File, or you can hit Control N on your keyboard. And I want it to be 12 by 12 at 300 ppi. And normally I work with transparent background, but today we're going to use a white one. So go ahead and click OK. And it's created a 12 by 12 document with this white background, which we're going to use later. So come over to this layer, double click on background, and choose OK. And it's going to convert it into a layer. And we're just going to turn it off for a minute by clicking the eyeball. And then I want to click a new layer so that I can work on the layer above this background. The next thing I want to do is turn on my grid. So I'm going to go to View, Grid, and then I want to make sure that my Snap to Grid is turned on. So go back to View and choose Snap to, and then click Grid. And then I want to make sure what settings I have for my grid. So I'm going to go to Edit and Preferences. And then from this contents over here, I'll choose Guides and Grid. And I want to make sure I have a grid line, one grid line every inch with 8 subdivisions, and click OK. So now I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to use Control Plus on my keyboard, but you could also use your zoom tool, just so I can see my lines a little bit better. Then I'm going to choose my Shape tool and choose the Ellipse tool, which if I were to click and drag will make ovals. If I hold the Shift key down, it'll make a perfect circle. I'm going to draw it so that it's 1 inch by 1 inch and then bring it out one more. So it's actually 1.125 inches. It's 9 of these little squares, wide and high. Then I'm going to select my Move tool and come over to my layer, right click and choose Simplify Layer, so it's just this circle. And I'm going to duplicate it one time by holding Alt, so you'll see the Move tool changes to this double arrow. And I'm going to click and drag and then let go. And then I'll release the Alt key. So now I've got 2 circles that are on 2 layers. Now I'm going to zoom out, and this is where we're going to use this background for just a moment. So I'm going to turn it back on. I'm going to select Shape 1, and holding Control, I'm going to click on this white layer too, so that both layers are selected. Then I'm going to go to my Align menu up here, and I want to align the left edges. So that'll bring this one circle exactly to this left edge, and we're going to repeat that with this circle only on the right edge. So I'll click on Shape 1 Copy, then hold Control and click on Layer 0 and go to Align, this time right edges. And now I don't need this white layer anymore, so I'm just going to delete it by holding it and clicking and dragging it to the trash can. Now what I want to do is duplicate this circle so I have 10 more. I'm not going to worry about lining them up exactly. I'm just going to hold the Alt key so I get my double arrows and just click and drag out. So that I have a total of 12 circles. Once you have all of those, you can click and drag to select all of them. And we're going to go to the Align menu, and we're going to align the vertical centers, and then the Distribute menu, and distribute the horizontal centers. So let me zoom in so you can see that all my circles are overlapping now. That would be easier to see if we turned off our grid, which we don't need now. So I'm going to go ahead and go to View, Grid, so it turns it off. So you can see we have all of these circles, but they're still separate layers. So what I'm going to do is merge these layers. So you can right click and choose Merge Visible, and now it's just one shape. So that would work if you want to have a scallop or a bubble shape that has both. But if I want a straight edge over here, I'm going to turn back on my grid, and I'm going to go back to my Shape tool, but this time choose the Rectangle tool. And I'm going to click about the center of these circles, and then click and drag down so that my rectangle just overlaps them on the bottom. And now I'm going to turn off my grid so you can see the shape that I drew. And then I'm going to right click and choose Simplify Layer. and then right click and choose Merge Visible. So now I have a scallop border with an edge, and I could choose to clip a paper to that, or just to color fill and use it a variety of ways on my scrapbook pages. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, susieqscraps@gmail.com. If you're looking for more tutorials and how-to articles, you can find them on my website, susieqscraps.com.